Assalamu alaikum everyone, peace be upon you all. It's me again, Bahijah, the lad Sheibanee, your BCBA. I hope you all are staying safe and healthy. So today I'm going to talk about FBA, which is Functional Behavior Assessment. In the video where I did the functions of behavior, I said that you cannot determine what's the function of the behavior until you conduct an FBA, which is a Functional Behavior Assessment. Okay, so with the Functional Behavior Assessment, before you conduct it, you have to make sure you know what behavior you are looking out for, what behavior you're actually going to observe and assess. Okay, once you just determine that, then you go ahead and do the assessment. So we have 3 levels when it comes to the FBA, which is also the same as the 3 level of science. So we have the indirect, the direct, and the functional analysis, which is the control. Okay, so the indirect, we have interviews. So this is where you actually asking the significant others of the individual about the behavior, when it happens and why it happens. Okay, so it can be just in an interview form, or you can give them a questionnaire where they can answer those questions, or sometimes you just give them, it's just a survey where they can just take and then answer questions to it. So it's not anything that is like too difficult. You're just asking people who are in the individual's life on daily basis, because they will be able to tell you what is actually happening when the behavior is happening and what is actually happening after the behavior happens and how it looks like. Okay, we do not actually take their words for it, because they might not be actually telling us exactly what we are expected to know. Okay, somebody will just tell us, I don't even know why the behavior happens. It just happens for no reason. We don't even know when it's happening. Okay, you're just trying to figure out what the behavior looks like to them versus you don't knowing anything about the behavior. So you're just trying to figure out what behaviors you're looking out for and how it looks like to them versus how it will look like for you as the BCBA, or the one taking the data and observing. So that's the first step. We don't actually work with that. We just use it as the first step before you do anything else. Okay, not that we don't trust them, but we can just use that to determine someone's behavior. Okay, so the second one, which is the direct observation. Okay, so this is when we do observe the individual in their natural environment. It could be in the classroom, it could be in at a playground, it could be at home, where you think the behavior normally occurs. That's where you would go there and observe the behavior and see why it's happening, when it's happening, what happens after the behavior. So we have what we call the ABC data. So that's when we take it. So the ABC is the antecedent to the behavior and the consequence, right? So when you are observing the behavior, we look out for what triggers the behavior, what we think triggers the behavior. So we write it down. So before the behavior happens, you look at the environment, the setting events, whatever that happens before the behavior occurs, you write it down in the A, which is the antecedents. What happened before the behavior? And then the behavior, you write exactly what the behavior looks like. Okay, you write exactly how the behavior looks like and how it was done, whatever that he did or she did. And then the consequence is what happened after the behavior. Did someone come in to say something? Did someone stop the behavior? Did somebody say something about the behavior? So you write it down. So you're just observing, you're not doing anything. So sometimes you can just look out for that behavior for like a day. Sometimes you just want to see more, so you take 2 or 3 days just to actually come out with some hypothesis that of what's the functioning the possible function of the behavior. So with that, sometimes when you are reading your data, analyzing your data, and you look at the triggers, right? You always watch out the triggers and then the consequence. You know the behavior, you're looking out for the behavior, yes, but the most important is the trigger and also the consequence. How does it look like? Okay, so you can actually determine, sometimes you don't have to go to the third one. Sometimes you can actually look at and analyze the data and see that, okay, this is actually what is functioning as what is actually maintaining the behavior. Okay, sometimes though it's all over the place, or you just want to be really accurate that this is exactly what is maintaining the behavior. So then you go to the third phase, which is the functional analysis. So with the functional analysis, it's experimental, manipulating and contriving the environment to see if the behavior would occur. Okay, so you're manipulating and contriving the environment to see if the behavior will occur. So we have 4 conditions where we can actually do. So before I say anything, actually, before you do the functional analysis, you need a consent form. You make sure that you have actually considered all your risk involvements, like anything that is risky in the assessment, ethical consideration, any harmful behavior that might cause you have to go through thoroughly before. If you can't do it, do not even attempt doing functional analysis until you know how to do it, confidently be able to do it. So once you get the clear that you can do it and you have a consent form from the parent or the guardian or whoever it is, that is the client, you take that and make sure that both of you signed, and then you're good to go. So with that functional analysis, we have 4 conditions that we run. Okay, before you run that condition, you make sure that you have explained into details what we call the operational definition of the behavior. Whatever behavior you are looking out for, make sure you have written it in clear definition, so that if the next person looks at the definition, they will be able to look at the behavior and say, okay, this is what I'm looking out for. All right, because normally we want 2 or more people to actually observe the behavior happening and make sure that you are all on the same, taking the same kind of data and making sure that it's the same thing you're watching out for, the same behavior. Okay, so that is what we call the IOA, making sure that at least you are all watching the same behavior, the same definition is in front of you, you're watching out for the same behavior, the same condition at the same time, but you are all taking the data individually. Nobody's watching out for anybody's data to say, oh, okay, she said it happened here. No, you are watching. Did the behavior happen? Yes, it didn't happen. You go ahead to the next phase. So we have 4 conditions, as I said. The first condition is the first condition. You can run it anyhow, but we can have the first condition to be demand. Second condition will be attention. Third will be play. And then fourth will be a loan condition. So we are running these conditions to determine, is it task or demand that is actually causing the behavior to happen? Is it for attention? Is it a loan, which is sensory? Okay, and then play, to see, just the play, just to see if interacting with the person causes the behavior to happen. Okay, so once you do this, you would come to a conclusive, if you do it right, you'll be able to come to a conclusive end that this is what is actually functioning, or this is what is actually maintaining the behavior. Okay, you can tell whether it's attention that is maintaining the behavior, or is demand that is maintaining the behavior, or is it sensory that is maintaining the behavior. So if you're going to run or conduct an FA, First of all, you need, if you're doing it in a contrived setting, so that means you have to make sure that whatever room you're using either has a two-faced mirror where you can actually observe while the behavior is happening, or you have a camera in the room to watch out for the behavior while you're watching on the screen. So first of all, you need somebody who will be in the room with a client, with an individual, to be contriving, okay, to be manipulating the environment. And then you need at least two people watching the behavior happening. If not, you can have only one person watching it and then record it for the next person to also watch it, just so you have a very clear, conclusive function of the behavior, because you want to be really accurate. Before you write any behavior plan, you need to make sure you know what you are, what the treatment is all about, because you can't be writing FBA. I mean, you can write a behavior plan on attention while the function is demand. So you have to really make sure you know how to conduct FA and how to actually analyze the data and see what is maintaining the behavior before writing a behavior plan. Okay, so you need a room that is clear of any danger. Make sure that if the kid is involved in any headbanging, make sure it's all padded room, so that, you know, even if the behavior happens, the client will not be in danger. Nobody will be in harm's way. And make sure whoever is in the room is equipped to stop any dangerous behaviors from happening. Okay, all right. So whoever is in the room with the client, make sure that the person has undergone some sort of safety skill training that can stop the dangerous behavior from happening. Okay. Be cautious of any dangerous behaviors, because you don't want it to be too long. So you don't want to make the person engage in the behavior that will hurt himself or the person in the room with. So be alert when the behavior is happening and you think it's getting too dangerous. You stop it. You stop, and you can continue some other day, or, you know, when you really are in a good good situation to do that. Okay. Whoever is in the room should be really trained on how to conduct functional analysis, when to give in and when not to give in. Okay, so for example, when you're running any condition, on contingent of the behavior happening, you stop the behavior from happening, which means if I asked you to write your name, all right, that's the behavior. I mean, that's that for task. If I ask you to write your name, and writing your name, the behavior occurs, right? I'll quickly take the paper and pencil and pen away from you, so that you're not engaging in the behavior, because I'm taking the work away from you, and then maybe the behavior will stop. Okay? So that's for demand. As soon as you see it happening, you take it away. Don't make it even happen. If the behavior is really a dangerous one, once it starts, you know the certain event, once it starts, right? You take away the work. And then the behavior will wait for some few minutes and then represent the work again. It's going to happen again or happening, then you take it away. Okay? Few seconds, you present the work again. So you keep doing it until you finish that condition. The same with attention. If you're in the same room and you're not giving attention to the kid, you're doing your own thing, playing with something, you're not giving him attention, and the behavior occurs, you give the kid attention for a few seconds, and then you stop again, you go back to whatever you're doing. The behavior occurs, you go back and give the kid attention. So that's how you run it. Make sure that you are not making the behavior occur for too long before you stop, because you're just trying to contrive. You want to see when it happens. You don't want the behavior to happen, but that's the only way for you to determine the function of the behavior. That is why we actually do these manipulations. Sometimes we do it in the classroom, We can also do it at home and not really in in a room where it's just the person. Okay, so that is functional analysis. This is only done by a BCBA who is well equipped to run it. I'm not sure all BCBAs actually know how to run functional analysis. I'm not sure, but you are supposed to know it. So make sure when you are undergoing training and whatever it is, this is what you should learn. Make sure you're learning the right way. You're getting a good, you have a good supervisor who would actually teach you the right things to do. Okay? And parents, when we say we are running functional analysis, don't get scared. It's just to determine what is functioning the behavior and to make sure that we are writing a very good behavior intervention plan for the individual. Okay, so it's just some form of a treatment plan that we need to know. The best way to write it is to make sure that we know the function of the behavior. Like I said, sometimes you don't have to go to the functional analysis. You can easily say or figure out what is the possible function, and then you work with it. So this is what FBA should look like, and make sure, I said it again, you are well equipped before you run it. And make sure also that there's a consent form that you have signed, the parents have signed before you conduct FA. All right? So thank you for watching, and thank you for being supportive. Please do not forget, if you are new to this channel, do not forget to subscribe, share, like, leave a comment or two. And when I see it, I'll reply. Thank you. Until my next video, stay safe, stay healthy, and God bless you.